So how sure are we precious metals are going to be the thing of the future, the very near future, just the next few years? Well, if one of the entities fighting tooth and nail to keep the prices down, known as the Federal Reserve, and again, they're only doing this because they know their days are numbered, they know how this cycle ends, they know paper fiat gets thrown out the window, people will demand something new, and what the people will demand is always precious metals, or at least a precious metals backed currency. They know this, they've been doing this for a long time. So that doesn't mean that because you and I want precious metals to, start doing their thing right now, that the powers that be also are going to decide, yeah, let's just go ahead and do it now because the sheep, the sheeple, referring to us, want this done. No, they're going to do it, but it's going to be on their terms and their timeline. The good thing is their timeline's not too far off from where you're probably expecting it. So when they do something like this, let's let you decide, where do you think gold and silver is going to be, and how do you think gold and silver is going to be viewed by the population of the earth in the next few years after reading this little short paragraph? Last week, the FDIC and the Federal Reserve issued a notice of proposed rulemaking to adopt the Basel III capital requirements. If this new rule is adopted as proposed, gold would shift to a zero-risk weighting for purposes of calculating bank capital by the year 2015. We're in 2012, almost 2013. It's 2 years practically from now. Such a move would eventually place gold at the heart of global currency and payment systems, seemingly a shift back towards a gold standard. This action is a strong confirmation that gold's primary trend, and silver, precious metals, primary trend will likely continue. Yes, of course. Does that mean they can't slam it a time or two because we're pushing them to make it happen now? Everyone's buying gold and silver, and again, they're controlling it, but there's a lot of action in the gold and silver markets, physical. So if we have a problem where there's this little supply and demand issue, the powers that be may be standing there saying, oh, damn, maybe we should have pulled this off a little sooner. Now we've lost some control. Prices are skyrocketing out of control, and we haven't even got our whole New World Order system in place just yet. Who knows? The bottom line is, I'm not giving you my opinion. I do all the time, but I'm not, this one and many other ones I've talked about, videos I've done and stuff, with using pure facts, pure comments from the Fed, from the FDIC, in this case FDIC, from the Treasury, from wherever. And they all point to precious metals rising massively compared to where they are right now. You've got to be a complete fool to think otherwise. And people get caught in the, month to month, week to week thing as if, oh man, it's been $27, $28 for, 2-3 months now, or longer, whatever. I think it's done. I think this is it. You're looking at the blink of an eye of a time span, for gold and silver prices. Go look 10 years ago. Show me that chart. And while you're at it, get the US dollar chart and tell me what it does for the same time period. From right now, 10 years back. From right now for gold and silver, 10 years back. US dollar both, 10 years back. Gold and silver. In other words, gold and silver separately. Gold chart, silver chart, US dollar chart. And we already know the US dollar is heavily weighted against the euro and a basket of other currencies that don't even matter. So it's basically the euro, and both of us are printing money out of control. So we're comparing each other to each other, and we're still in the 70s of dollar index, high 70s or whatever dollar index. Really? Even though they're manipulating it, can't do any better than that? Wow, isn't that amazing? Look at the chart, and again, it's still manipulated because they're controlling the price of the dollar index by comparing it to another piece of garbage that's printing money out of control. So, bottom line, it says if this new rule is adopted as proposed. Well, the FDIC, which really isn't anybody, And the Federal Reserve, who has all the power, issued a notice of proposed rulemaking. Therefore, they want this new rule adopted. And if the Federal Reserve wants it adopted, you almost have to sit there and say, oh, I wonder if it's going to get adopted. You're damn right it's going to get adopted. The Fed is the government. The owners of the Fed own the government. The Fed says we're proposing a rule. That rule's coming. It's going to happen. Plain and simple.